Hello, everyone. Welcome to day one of DTM preseason testing here at Eurospeedway, or the Lausitz Ring, as it's also known as. Don't kill me, Flo, with that pronunciation. I'm JW97, and or Joseph Wallace, as you guys know me. I'm not the only one in the commentary box. I'm joined by Danny, or as most of you know, Mr. Abush Daniel. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening indeed. In the words of Unai Emery. But anyway, we're here at Euro Speedway as per usual, and obviously this is the first day of pre-season testing. Obviously tomorrow we'll be at Assen for day two, like it has been for the last couple of seasons. But hopefully we're also in for a very exciting season, as it was for the last few years. Well, in fact, every season of DTM, it must be said. But I think without further ado, we should get into the testing session. So we'll briefly have a look at the weather once we get there. And there could be rain towards the end of the session, but I know that normally with this track, the drivers like to finish off quite a bit early. So we'll have to wait and see if the rain gets there. But it's only light rain, so it might wetten up the track. It might not. We'll have to wait and see on that. It more than likely would, judging from that level on the graph, but that's about it, really. But anyway, we're on the loading screen, and obviously when the testing happens, we'll obviously go through the driver lineup, because there's been a lot of changes to the driver lineup, and of course we'll go through the calendar as well during this pre-season test. But what are you expecting from this season, Danny?
Good question. I don't really know.
That's just the magic of DTM, I suppose. It's usually one of those which is a bit of a mystery in terms of, who is the favourite and who isn't. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we're here for the hour session. The second season using the 2018 mod, and we'll soon be seeing some drivers going out there in just a little bit. But anyway, whilst we wait for those drivers to go out there, we might as well go through the driver lineup for 2019, as there has been a few changes along the way. So we'll start off over at the Mercedes team, because Mercedes are the defending drivers' champions, of course. Starting off with the Remus team. They will, of course, have... is it the Remus team? No, it's the AMG Motorsport team that are first. I'm just thinking about it in alphabetical order. It's the AMG Motorsport team that are first. They have retained Julius Anderson for this season, but he's got a new teammate in the form of Hoang Min Nguyen, who moves over from GP2 after quite a tricky couple of seasons in the Tier 2. Moving over to the Petronas team, and, well, it's all familiar scenery for Petronas, because they've got two former top class drivers and two world champions from the top class as well. Will Neller remains at the team, but he's joined by Florian Volker, who surprised many of us by announcing his shock retirement after winning his 5th world title last season at Brazil. So he's now here in DTM, and he'll be looking to see if he can become, along with many others on the grid, become the first driver in GP4 OC history to win a championship in 2 different tiers. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to do that. Moving over to the Remus team, they have Victor Bobo in the car, and he is joined, of course, by Roberto Gamba, who moves over from the top class after losing out on a seat for 2019, the Haas test driver. And then finally, to round off the Mercedes team, we have the Sipperfield team. I think that's how it's pronounced. Don't kill me again, Flo, with the pronunciation, because I know you're German. But anyway, that team retains Michael Mocho, the former DTM champion for this season, and he's got a new teammate in the form of Czech Republic driver Krzysztof Beranek, who moves over from GP2. That rounds off the Mercedes teams, so we'll move over to Audi, and we'll start off with the Phoenix team. They retain runner-up David Greenwood from last season, looking to try and go one better in 2019, but he's got a new teammate in the form of 2018 Formula E runner-up Aji Prazan, who actually makes his return to DTM, having previously been known as Adi Dilamanto. I believe he was last in DTM back in 2013 from memory. In terms of the rest of the BMW teams, the Audi teams, we move over to the App Sportsline team, and they're the only team to retain their lineup from last season, which is of course Bartosz Klos and Rifki Fakhrizadeh. And finally, the team at Rosberg team have Roman Quag in the team, and he's joined of course by Turkish driver Halil Shahin. Finally, moving over to BMW, and the RBR team retain Robert Ionescu for RBR? No, it's RBM, sorry. The RBM team retain Robert Ionescu for another season, but he's got a new teammate in the form of BTCC title contender from last season, of course, Johan Peterson. On the RMG team, they retain Oliver Glazebrook, and he's joined by 2018 Formula E champion Max Norberg. Moving over to MR. They have Adam Wolf still at the team, but he's joined with a new teammate in the former 2018 BTCC runner-up, Daniel Fraser. And finally, the Triple R team have Will Parrish and Alessandro Tomaselli. So they are the lineup for DTM this season. We've got some lap times already on the board. Kloss currently at the top of the standings. There's Florian Volker in the blue Petronas car. He's currently in, where did he go there that time by? He's currently 7th at the moment. Roberto Gamba goes into 13th position, quite low down the field. Norberg crosses the line to go 14th at the moment. Here comes Roman Quarg in the Audi, goes 7th quickest at this point in time. Behind him, we've got Julius Anderson. Across the line, he will go. He only 14th with that time by, as Rifki Fakruzin goes into 2nd place. So 1-2 so far for App Sportsline, as Parrish goes into 16th place there, as Ionescu goes into 4th position in the RBM car. As Will Nellard, here he is. Will Nellard, let's see what he can do. And it's not a very good lap, only 21st. Might have got held up that time, but I made that last because Michael Mocho has gone up into 11th position. So after the first few laps, what have you made so far, Danny?
Not much changed from last year.
It seems like there's still a few guys there who are still wrapping it up at the front of the field. Peterson goes into 5th place, the man who's moved up from BTCC. As Volker has improved. A few guys improving at this point in time, as Nguyen is going back into the pits this lap, as you can just tell with the indicator on the top right there. Is Johan Peterson we're looking at here then. Currently on the lap, but currently down on his personal best after the first sector, I believe that was. And currently lying himself in 5th position at this point in time. So, obviously, as well, we've just gone through the driver lineup, but I might as well just go through the calendar whilst we're at it as well. So we've obviously got the pre-season test. Ionescu actually goes up into 3rd position there, just 5 thousandths off Rifki Fakruzin, his former Sauber teammate from the top class in 2012, might I add. But anyway, in terms of the calendar, obviously the season kicks off as per usual at the current layout of Hockenheim before we head off to Misano, which becomes the 2nd round of the season this time round. Then we are off to Aragon. Now got a full-time place on the DTM calendar after it was voted in last season. And then the 4th round of the championship will take place from memory, if my memory serves me correct. The 4th round of the championship, in fact, I'll get the calendar up just to remind me, but at the moment we're riding on board with Adam Wolf, who currently finds himself in 4th position. In fact, he's just got himself ahead of Victor Ibobo at this point in time, because it was Ibobo and Ionescu right next to each other, but Wolf splitting the two of them at this point in time. Ibobo and Nescu, if they've been given the nickname in the OC. 4th round, of course, being at Silverstone. I've just remembered that now. So Silverstone being round 4. And then it is a voted race. It's actually going to be a track in France, but it's a vote between Magny-Cours and Paul Ricard, as Ionescu now goes up into 2nd place on the leaderboard. So that's the French round being either Magny-Cours or Paul Ricard. You've still got time to vote for that, so just be aware of that. Only DTM drivers can vote for it, though. So if you're not competing in DTM, then unfortunately your vote will not count towards it. Round 6 will be at the Red Bull Ring in Austria before heading off to where we are now, in fact, Euro Speedway for round 7. That's got a full-time slot on the calendar at long last after it was originally meant to be a full-time slot back in 2010 before it had all those problems. The Nürburgring is round 8 before we head off to Istanbul Park, and a slightly later round of the calendar. It's going to be round 9 this time rather than what it used to be, which was round 2 to round 3. And then round 10 will be at Montreal, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve, before heading off to the United States round, which is another vote, and this time it is between the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, and Road America at Elkhart Lake. So that's also a vote as well that you can also vote on, whether it be COTA or Road America. Again, that's still open as well, so again, only DTM drivers can vote for that. Then round 12 will be the old layout of Hockenheim before we head off to Spa-Francorchamps for the penultimate race of the season, and the final round, as per usual, taking place at Monza. Down to 14 rounds from 15 last season, because of course it got increased to a 15-round calendar halfway last season due to Budapest and Euro Speedway being tied on votes. But Euro Speedway, out of the two of them, getting the full-time slot on the DTM calendar. We look at Johan Peterson now. He's just crossed the line and he's not able to improve at this point in time. So, in terms of the calendar, Danny, what do you make of it?
I like it. So
any ones you're looking forward to in particular?
Probably Silverstone. I don't know. I just like the track in general.
Well, we've obviously got 2 voted tracks like we had last season. Which one out of the 2 French tracks do you particularly prefer, Paul Ricard or Magny-Cours? Personally, a bit of a controversial opinion. I prefer Paul Ricard, but I know there are some people who prefer Magny-Cours. But which one out of those 2 do you prefer?
Paul Ricard, actually. Me too.
Yeah, personally,
I just
think
don't like the Magny-Cours one.
Yeah, I personally feel like Magny-Cours is a little bit overrated, personally, in my opinion, because, people bring up his history, but I can't recall a very exciting... The only time that track has ever been good for Formula 1, in my opinion, was when it was wet. I can't recall a dry race being very exciting, not even 2000, when Coulthard decided to fuck the bird at Schumacher around the Adelaide hairpin. But anyway, Daniel Fraser now, meantime, has gone up into 2nd place, a 2018 BTCC runner-up. Expecting good things from him this season after coming very close to the BTCC title last season. He'll be looking to see if he can try and make an impression here in DTM, a bit like how Dudu Kirby did last season, hence why he's now in GP2. In terms of the American tracks, COTA and Road America, which one do you prefer out of those 2? Personally, I'm a bit 50-50 with those 2 because I think both of them are very good tracks.
Austin.
Prefer Austin? I presume. Yep. I presume that you're not too familiar with Road America, judging from that.
Nope.
I thought so. I kind of guessed because obviously most of us come from watching Formula One. Not many people. There are obviously a few of us who watch IndyCar, but there's not many that watch IndyCar, of course, in the OC, of course. But it is known for being an IndyCar track. And I believe IMSA has hosted a few races there, but I don't think it's ever really had that many international events go to that track in particular. Fraser, meantime, has improved his 700s off Bartish Cost at the moment, as meanwhile, that is, who's the guy in 7th place, actually? I'm trying to remember who is PRA at this point in time. Prazan, that's the one, yes. Aji Prazan, currently in 7th position at this point in time. The 2018 Formula E runner-up, just missing out on the title after a very exciting finale in Formula E between himself and Max Norber. Both of them essentially fighting for 2nd place, which was eventually the position that would determine the championship, of course. Only 1 point separating both Norberg and Prazan in the end. Both of them now in DTM, so maybe the rivalry between the pair of them can resume here in DTM, but only time will tell. We'll now look at Krzysztof Beranek, who is here in DTM. Now, from memory, I don't know if I don't know if Beranek actually denied it, but I do remember him saying somewhere that he wasn't going to compete for GP2 in 2019. I believe he said that somewhere on Twitter. Correct me if I'm wrong, Krzysztof, if you're watching, but I do believe you said somewhere on Twitter that you weren't planning to compete in GP2 for 2019, hence why you're in DTM this time by. But anyway, we now look at Oliver Glazebrook, a man who's here for the 2nd race. Rose Volker goes to the top of the timing sheets. The 2018 Top Class champion, or 5-time champion, I should say, has gone to the top of the timing sheets by 5 thousandths of a second. Did you go and say something there, Danny?
What?
Was you about to say something there before I kind of interrupted you?
I just said surprising to Volker.
Yeah, 5 thousandths, the gap at the moment between Volker and Klosch. So far we're getting some very close lap times at this point in time. Here's Daniel Fraser in the Deutsche Post BMW, or as I should say, the RMR BMW. His teammate, of course, being Adam Wolf. Ionescu improved slightly to be in 4th position, as Glazebrook currently being held up by your ex-BMW, if I'm not mistaken, Danny, from memory. I believe that used to be your car. The Shell BMW.
Yeah, has my name on it.
Flo did say that there were some liveries that he's still working on during this, but he's hoping to get them done.
Fraser's livery.
Meantime, Tomaselli has now gone up into 5th place. Alessandro Tomaselli has moved over from GP2 after a frustrating few seasons there, with his one of his cousins, Lorenzo, making a return to GP2 recently, whilst his other cousin, Paulino, is doing a cracking job in the top class, as Will Parrish is currently 18th at the moment. The gap between the whole pack currently now separated by 6 tenths of a second, as Peterson just makes his way around the left-hander now then. And let's see if he's able to see if he can try and improve. I don't think he can at the moment because he's currently in the red at the moment. Peterson currently in the 11th position. As meantime, Tomaselli, who's still got Fitzwater riding at the moment, as Flo said on what was I going to say? As he said once on was it he said on Discord that he's still got some liveries to work on, especially that one that's in front of Tomaselli, which has got a bit of issues with its number. Apparently, it's on the back of the car rather than on the side. So I don't know what's going on there with the textures on that car.
I think I flipped it wrong or something.
Well, that would explain it then. But that will get fixed. As meantime, Greenwood, last season's runner-up, goes into 5th place. A lock up there for Tomaselli going into the first corner as he was trying to pass Roberto Gamba, that was. As he just makes his way around the right-hander, so not able to get past his fellow Italian. And some people saying seal of approval with Volker going to the top of the timing sheets there in the chat. Norberg going up into 18th position as Berenek and Peterson now are coming into pits as Mocho goes up to 15th. And Peterson now in the pits he goes. Probably one of the most unique pit entrances, I would say, in terms of racetrack, in that it's a bit of a racetrack in itself, the first part of the pit lane entrance. What I mean by that is it's not like it's kind of like it's part of the racetrack. You wouldn't think it is a pit entrance, but it is. As Anderson didn't improve that time by, as currently he finds himself in 11th position. As we look now at Alessandro Tomaselli, who's about to finish off his lap. I don't think he's going to improve, but we'll have to wait and see on that. He might surprise us in this last sector for all we know. But he crosses the line and he does not able to improve that time by as he makes his way through the first few corners. So far then, touch on wood that we haven't had any incidents so far in this testing session, as everybody just trying to find their way through in this pit entrance. So so far then, with just over 45 minutes to go, it's Volker at the top, with Glost in 2nd, Fraser in 3rd, Ionesco in 4th, with Greenwood in 5th, Tomaselli 6th, Fakrazane in 7th, Quarg in 8th, Wolf in 9th, Ibobo 10th, Anderson 11th, with Prazan in 12th, and that changed straight away because Quarg has now gone up into 4th position. So that one has definitely been scrapped from me reading off the leaderboard. So that's that really. So as Flo just said there in the chat, most of these livers will get fixed up for tomorrow, especially Roberto's, which has been a little bit flipped the wrong way, as Flo put it. So as meantime, Gamba has improved, but not by much. He's still quite a way off the rest of the pack at the moment. From P1 to P21, they're all 4 tenths off each other, but Gamba, compared to the top man Volker, 6 tenths off. So a bit interesting at this point in time, wouldn't you say, Annie?
It is.
Are you just going to come out with one-liners during this whole testing session?
You're always talking, man. I don't know. So yeah, another pearl, by the way.
I think that at the same time, I think there is a bit of a delay between us, so that's why it might sound a little bit awkward at times when I'm trying to pass over to Danny, because I think there is a bit of a delay between the pair of us, which is kind of understandable. We're in 2 different parts of the world, so that's that really. Meantime, whilst we were just talking there, Nella has gone up into 3rd, so it's currently a 1-3 at the moment for the Petronas boy. So the top class champion showing how it's done at the moment in this session.
He was actually 21st. So before, so yeah.
So a massive improvement there for Will Nelly. Finds himself 45 thousandths off Volker at this point in time, as Greenwood there just getting in front of Tomaselli there, luckily not able to hold him up that time by, as he just makes his way around these swooping corners. But Tomaselli coming into the pits this time by. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there is chance that these drivers will finish off a little bit early due to how short the track is and due to the limited laps that the AI has when it comes to practice, as Oliver Glazebrook, meantime, has gone up into 6th position, just 6 thousandths off 5th placed man Roman Quarg, his former Caterham teammate from 2012, might I add. Yep. Into 6th position at the moment, as we look at Daniel Fraser now, then still sporting Patel stickers, but that should be fixed by the time the first race comes around. Oh, you were saying, Danny?
I wanted to point that out.
Yeah. So Fraser now then didn't improve on that lap, and as he just comes around the left-hander. Now, I bet there's some people who are wondering, well, because obviously Eurospeedway used to have these issues with DTM, but how come it's been able to have a race now ever since? Well, a few seasons ago now, we had a new DAT file that came out for Eurospeedway, and it's meant that the racing has become, how can I put it, less chaotic than what it was in the past. So it's become a little bit more raceable and more usable. Hence why we had a race here last season, and we're having a race there this season again. I think it's there now. For a full...
Yeah, chaotic.
Yeah, especially in testing with the first corner. Yeah, because there used to be quite a few flips.
I think, in the race as well.
Yeah, there was quite a few incidents in the past with the old DAT file, but ever since this new DAT file came out, we haven't seen any of those weird crashes happen at the first couple of corners. As we look at Fakra Zain, who's 9 tenths off of Volker in the second sector, so this is not going to be an improvement given that the whole pack is separated by 6 tenths of a second. Min slightly improves to go up into 15th position. I should say Nguyen actually, because it's that's his last name. But anyway, Fakra Zain crosses the line, no improvement for him, 1.2 seconds off the pack there, probably just doing a race run there that time by, as he just negotiates through the first few turns and negotiating through the first part of the road course section of this oval. I do believe from memory in real life the oval actually played host to an IndyCar race, but I'm not 100% sure, as you just pointed out there, Danny, didn't you?
Yep, I did.
Yeah, that Nella there just making a little error there, just locking up the tyres there, and just making a little bit of an error there. But currently lying in third position at the moment is Will Neller, but as a result of that lock off, he finds himself 6 tenths down in the first sector. And as they go around these right-handers now then, Will Neller currently finding himself behind 2 BMWs, one of them I believe being Robert Ionescu, and the other one who is now driving Doribush Daniels, former Shell BMW. I can't remember who it is who's driving the Shell BMW now.
Daniel
Fraser.
Fraser.
That's the one, it's Daniel Fraser. So thanks for that, Danny. Daniel Fraser then. So we've just got over 40 minutes to go in this session. Whether the drivers will need all that time, we'll have to wait and see. As I've mentioned quite a couple of times now, the drivers do tend to finish off this session quite early, given the nature of this short track.
Yeah, it was like 50 minutes early.
Yeah, something like that. I do remember. I think there used to be a point where it used to be 21 minutes to go before the session when everybody finished off. So, who knows? We might just have 18 minutes left. We'll have to wait and see what the driver is able to do. The only way we can tell, of course, is when they get the checkered flag next to their name on the timing tower on the left. So we'll have to wait and see on that. 700's down that time by Will Neller was in the first sector, but it's not going to, at the moment, it's not going to be an improvement given he's 45 thousandths off of Volker in overall. And so it looks like he might be just doing a little bit of a race run, maybe just a little long run as well at this point in time.
Race him.
And meantime, Neller now then just going around these final few turns then on the racetrack. And let's see what he can do as he goes around the banking. And let's see then. So Will Neller now then coming across the line. And it's a 105.207, of course, not an improvement. So only 5 tenths off his personal best at this point in time. So he'll be coming into the pits at the end of this lap, probably for a fresh set of tyres. And maybe to check up with the team to see how they're doing. Garber has finally got himself into that 4/10th window between himself and Volker, so he's kind of now gone into that group. As Macho goes to the top, the former DTM champion has gone to the top of the timing sheet, so 1 minute 4.640. So Michael Macho now goes top, the 2014 DTM champion, looking for vengeance after what had been a very tricky season for the former DTM champion, desperate to get himself back in the top class if he can for 2020. And he'll be hoping he can achieve that after just missing out on the Toro Rosso seat for this season, along with Robert Ionescu as well. As meantime, Baronet goes up into 10th place, so the Czech driver getting himself into the top 10. But currently, as we speak right now, Michael Macho now at the top, ahead of Florian Volker and Bartosz Kloss. And that's fine, Macho. I mean, I'm obviously not in DTM, so you can say boom for that in DTM if you want to. And thanks for that, George. I will download it once this is finished. But anywho, as we go around the corners now then, I heard, but did somebody just disconnect from Discord there? I'm not sure. Oh, I think Danny might have lost connection. Danny, lose connection.
I'm
Are you
still
back?
here.
I'm gonna say. Well, it says that you're not here for some reason. I don't know if you lost connection because I had the. Yeah, I thought so because yeah. Anyway, we're now looking at Halil Shahin now then. Of course, remaining at Team Rosberg for this season. Kosselani goes, isn't able to improve at this point in time. Shahin currently down in 19th position, not ideally where he wants to be at the moment. As Shahin makes his way through these corners now. They're taking a lot of curb that time by at turn 3. But the Turkish driver looking to have a better season if he can. I mean, he showed some signs of brilliance last season, but he did seem to make quite a few mistakes last season, must be said, especially, I believe, at his home race at Istanbul last season. So he'll be looking, once we get to Istanbul this season, which is a little bit later on, compared to as Alessandro Tomaselli makes a huge lock up there, nearly going off the track there. Just about to see there, massive lock up there, and well, that won't have done his tyres any good. Garber now. Garber has got himself out of last place now. He moves up into 80th position. Now finds himself 2 temps behind Michael Mocho. As Tomaselli now then makes his way around the left-hander. And meantime, I think that was Will Parrish there that just came into. No, Will Parrish is now in a BMW, isn't he? So whoever's driving the extra Will Parrish car from last season has just come into the pits. We now look at Daniel Fraser. He's also got Florian Volker right behind him at the moment. Volker looking to try and get back to the top of the timing sheet if he can. Meantime, we look at Julius Anderson. He's about to start another lap very soon. Right behind him is Victor Bobo. He's driving the car that Rosetta Martinez won the championship in last season. Of course, Rosetta Martinez now moving into the top class of manner, skipping GP2, of course, and seems to be equal pace compared with Maxim Titkov so far this season. But obviously, Rosetta probably a little bit frustrated after what happened at Bahrain. He'll be looking to make amends in China next week, but we'll have to wait and see on that as Fakruzé makes his way around the banking now then, and he will start his lap. Currently down in 12th position, Rifki Fakruzé, of course, saying a couple of seasons ago that his aim in the OC is to try and win a title in every tier in the OC. Obviously, he's in DTM, and that'll be the first one. He's obviously won the GP2 title back in 2010. So he'll be hoping to try and add the DTM title this season if he can, after a couple of frustrating seasons for the Indonesian. So he's currently up on his personal best in the first sector, you can see from the green lap time on the right there, as he just makes his way around the right-hander. Now we're getting pretty close to when the rain should be at this point in time. It's at the 30-minute mark that we should be expecting rain, but whether it will wetten up the track, we'll have to wait and see on that. So that could be something that we could have to keep an eye on. Rifki's still up on his personal best in the middle sector as Anderson goes to the top. So it's now a former DTM champion 1-2 as Julius Anderson now goes to the top of the timing sheets with a 1 minute 4.581. So it's now Julius Anderson who takes command at the top of the timing sheets as he just makes his way around his corners. We've got a yellow flag.
It's raining.
We've got a yellow flag. As it's Victor Bobo who's gone for a spin. Yeah,
and it's raining.
Yes, it is. You can just see it there on the windscreen. But whilst that's going on, Victor Bobo has, of course, the first yellow flag of the 2019 DTM season. He seems to have spun at the exit of turn 3, so it'll be very interesting to see a replay of that if once he's got back on the track, which he has, rejoining just in front of Adam Wolf there. Let's see how this took place then. So it looks like it might be just a simple lockup. No, it was in fact some oversteer that he got there. So he had some oversteer, tried to catch it, but got himself onto the grass and slipped off. And given that we've got some rain out, it wouldn't have helped with the grass as well. So Victor Bobo spinning the wrong way in this session, and we're just getting a little slow-mo there from the British Nigerian. As goes for a brief spin there as as everybody just filters their way past at this point in time, and you saw there that he rejoined just in front of Adam Wolf and potentially ruined his lap. But now that the rain has come, the question is, will it dampen the track? Because if it does, it's going to affect everybody's lap times, and we could see Julius Anderson stay at the top for the remainder of this session. We'll have to wait and see.
It was 50%, so it should.
You were saying, Danny? I don't know if you just cut off there.
I said it was 50%. The rain itself, so it should better the track.
Prazan, meanwhile, has gone up into 6th position. Has gone over to down the pit straight. To answer a question from Michael Mocho in the chat, last season's time here at US Speedway was a 1 minute 4.553. So just comparing that, Anderson just a few hundreds off that time from last season. So depending on if the weather wettens up the track a little bit, we could see that time being beaten this season, but we'll have to wait and see. So we've got some side-by-side action going on there between Wolf and I believe that would have been... Who's that one? I'm trying to remember who's the one driving the... It's Victor Bobo, isn't it? Yes, that's the one. Yes, it's Victor Bobo that he's just passed there, but Wolf at the same time locking up. Ionescu improves slightly to go up into 5th position, so he gets himself back ahead of Will Neller, as meantime Bobo just making his way around the left-hander now then. So, as meantime we look at Max Norberg now then, just making his way out of the final corner. Let's see what the Austrian can do, and he does not improve. So, remains where he is at the moment, which is P21. Not been the best of sessions for Norberg in his first appearance in DTM after spending the last few seasons in Formula E, having won the Formula E title, of course, last season. Of course, Max Norberg being the first person to break the so-called curse that was going on in GP4 in terms of reigning Formula E champions not being promoted. Max Norberg, of course, officially ending that curse. But we've got some checkered flag guys now, as you can see there. Quarg, Wolf, and a Bobo getting the checkered flag next to their name, so they'll be finishing off their sessions pretty soon once they come into the pit.
It's really early.
Yeah, so as I kind of predicted, we are expecting the session to be finished quite early, it must be said. And meantime, a couple of guys are going into the pits. Neither of them, I don't think, are Bobo, Wolf, or Quarg. One of them, I believe, was Will Neller at that time by. But we're looking at Norberg, who's got David Greenwood right behind him at the moment. Norberg just making his way around the banking now then. As meantime, Peterson goes up into 14th position and go into the first few turns on the racetrack. And Norberg just getting himself overtaken there by Greenwood. We've got another checkered flag in the form of Will Neller. In fact, he's just come into the pit, so he's finished for the day. Tomaselli now gets himself into the top 10. So Alessandro Tomaselli moving up into 10th position. As meantime, we've got another one in the form of Rifki Fakwazane. So they're all getting the checkered flags pretty soon. Neller has officially finished the session, as I just mentioned earlier, because we've just seen him come into the pits with just over half an hour of the session remaining. At the moment, the track is not wetted up at the moment. I'm not seeing any dots on track at this point in time, but it wouldn't surprise me if we get to see some dots very soon. In fact, have I just seen some dots there, or is that just the sizzlingness of the stream? I'm not 100% sure.
That's the stream.
What's the stream? Okay. Just thanks for the clarity there. Okay, so we haven't got any dots at the moment on the racetrack. As meantime, Berenet comes out onto the track. He'll be hoping to get a lap time in very quickly before the dots or the dampness of the track start to kick in. Norberg coming into the pits this time by, and he's finished for the day because he's got the checkered flag next to his name. So Norberg finished. Not the best of days for Norberg. He'll be able to make amends tomorrow when the DTM crews head their way over to the Netherlands and specifically to the TT circuit Assen. So specifically the 2000 version of Assen, because unfortunately there isn't an up-to-date version. There isn't a current layout of Assen available on Grand Prix 4. It's only the previous layout of Assen that no longer exists, of course, because some of that track has been...
It's finished also.
Shaheen going up into 19th position and getting himself in front of Roberto Gamba. We're looking at the nose of Norberg soon. Once he comes around this right-hander, you'll see him go straight into the pit lane entrance. He goes. He's in the pits now then, and that's his session completed. There's still a few others still yet to finish their lap time. Berenet just starting his lap now then, currently finding himself in 13th position. Greenwood now getting the checkered flag next to his name. As Berenet now then just going around the left-hander, getting as close. Well, he doesn't really get that close to the wall, but getting close to the wall could be important, especially if you're trying to carry as much speed as possible coming out of that corner. As Berenet 1/10 down in the first sector and currently off his personal best at the moment, judging from the graphic on the right, on the top right there, not the one that says pit off, the one that's right next to it on the left. And so now coming around the left-hander now, then Peterson losing it a bit there. I wonder if the track is starting to kick in now, judging from that little error there. Yeah, I'm just wondering because Peterson there just making a little error going into that corner there. As Parrish improves, I wonder if he's pitting very soon because he's got the checkered flag next to his name. There's still a few cars on the track judging from the mini-map. Baronet doesn't improve, remains in P13. Here comes Julius Anderson, the man currently at the top, as Michael Mocho, the guy behind him, looks to try and get back to the top if he can. Across the line goes Michael Mocho, and he does not do that. Still remains in second position. They've got checkered flags next to their name, so once they get the pit symbol, they'll be finishing off their session. Peterson is coming in, and that will be his session done because he's got the checkered flag next to his name. Only Prazan and Berenek are the only two guys who haven't got checkered flags next to their names. Wonder if Baronet will get it after this lap. We'll have to wait and see, of course. So meantime, we've got some side-by-side action going on here between Shahin and Wolf. Wolf again locking up. We've seen quite a few lockups from Wolf today. He must be struggling a bit with tyre temperatures, especially now, considering that we've got the rain here. So Wolf struggling quite a bit, it seems, with tyre temperatures, but he's still currently in... where is he at the moment? He's currently 16th at the moment, so he's not really had the best of sessions at the moment. So not really what he'd be looking for, as Berenek doesn't improve, remains in 13th position. Still not got the checkered flag against his lane, so he's still going to be roaming around the track. Parrish has finished for the day. He's just gone into the pits. As Wolf we're looking at just makes his way around the corner. So as there is Shahin now, they're just going around the corner there then, as he makes his way into the pits. As Michael Mocho and Julius Anderson start there, along with a few others as well. Still not getting the pit symbol up at this point in time. Still trying to look at the track to see if there's any dots about.
No, I don't think so.
Not at the moment, no. So it's still currently dry at this point in time. But that could all change. We'll have to wait and see on that. Of course, it's only light rain, of course, judging from the colour from the weather forecast that we got a little bit earlier. Of course, light blue being light rain, and then a slightly... well, I'll say blue colour being just medium rain, I guess. Middle of the road rain. And then a darker shade of blue being torrential rain, it must be said. So extreme... basically, it's kind of a colour code for what sort of wet tyres they'll be going with. If it's the light blue colour, then you'll expect the drivers to be on intermediate. If it's middle of the road, then it's the normal wet. And if it's torrential, then they'll go with the extreme wet. So that's one way you can tell in terms of what tyres they will go on. So we now look at Baronet now then. He makes his way around the left-hander. Still not got the checkered flag. He's actually the only one now not to get the checkered flag. Because I believe... it was the other guy who didn't have the checkered flag earlier. Was it Fraser from memory? That's right. I just saw dots there. There are dots now on track. So the dots have now started to appear. They're just at the exit of turn 5. So that's where the dots are now starting to appear. As Adam Wolf now then makes his way around the left-hander. As some guys are coming into the pits and they, I presume, will be finished. That's Daniel Fraser. He's finished for the day. He finishes the session in at least 8th position, unless Baronet can get himself into the top 8, then he'll finish in 9th. But, well, at least in 9th, we'll have to wait and see on that. As Tomaselli, meanwhile,
Baronet finished as well.
And he's got the checkered flag now, so everybody's got the checkered flag. It's just a case of waiting for them to come back into the pits before we can finish the pre-season test. And here comes Prazan now then in the Audi. And he's coming into the pits this lap, so he'll be finished for the day. And the guy behind him, of course, still staying out at the moment. Here is Roberto Gamba with the slightly inaccurate livery, it must be said. But that will get fixed, I would presume, for tomorrow.
It's a special one-off.
We'll call it that then. We'll call it a special run-off. But anyway, and that's probably the last time you'll see it now, because Roberto is now coming into the pits. We've just done a 24 minutes to go. So just a few more cars that are out there on the track at the moment, just prancing around. Wolf is coming back in. He'll be finished. So anyone else who's staying out at the moment, we'll have to wait and see. Baronek has come in, so he's finished. Mosho is staying out to do another lap, as he will make his way towards the final few corners on the racetrack, through the hairpin, and then onto the banking he will go, getting as close to the wall as possible. And so through the banking then goes Michael Mocho, and let's see what lap time he can do. Obviously, I don't expect it to be an improvement now because of the dots being on the track. And no, it isn't. It's 1 minute 6.301. But he's still doing another lap, probably getting some wet mileage underneath him if he can. And he is now, I think, no, he's not. I think there are 2 cars left now that are on the track. There's Michael Mocho and someone else who's right behind him at the moment. I can't quite tell who that is. That's Alessandro Tomaselli. So we've just got 2 more cars left trailing around the track. And they'll soon be finishing off very soon. It looked like the tarmac was a little bit... The tarmac is now looking like it's starting to get a little bit darker, so we could see some spray before Mocho and Tomaselli come back into the pits. We'll have to wait and see on that. As because of that, look, Mocho 1.9 seconds down in the middle sector. And hello, Julius. At the moment, at the moment you will be top at the moment because the conditions are getting worse. So you will be finishing at the top of the timing sheets, 500s ahead of Michael Mocho. As Mocho now then just making his way around the banking. Let's see if this will be his final lap or not, as he just makes his way around the corner. And he makes his way down the pit straight, and across the line he will go. And no, it isn't his final lap. He's still going to be doing another lap. He's 3 seconds off. But Tomaselli is, so Mocho will be the only car left on the racetrack. So Tomaselli is done for the day. Tomaselli ending up in the top 10 as a result. So a very good session for Alessandro Tomaselli. You're saying, Danny?
I wasn't saying anything. I'm just.
I thought you were trying to say something there. Tomaselli now making his way around the corner.
No. My microphone is not the best quality, so that's why you probably didn't hear me sometimes.
Oh, okay. So anyway, as you can see, tarmac getting a little bit more darker down this straight that we're looking at this point in time. I wonder if we'll see some spray before Michael Mocho decides to come into the pits, as he just makes his way around the final few turns. Tomaselli coming into the pits, Mocho staying out, of course, and into the pits he goes then. So Mocho, the only car left on the racetrack, as he just makes his way around the banking. See what Michael Mocho can do, as he will now make his way down the pit straight, and across the line will come the 2014 DTM champion, and it's a 1 minute 8.643, and that is the session done, because he's now got the pit indicator. So there you have it. That is day 1 of DTM preseason testing done, and the only day here at Euro Speedway. So without further ado, let's have a look at the leaderboard then. Addison finished top, with Mocho in 2nd, Volker in 3rd, Kloss in 4th, with Ionescu in 5th, Nella in 6th, Prazan in 7th, Fraser in 8th, Krag in 9th, Tomaselli in 10th, Glazebrook in 11th, Greenwood 12th, with Beranek in 13th, Peterson 14th, Fakruzane in 15th, Wolf in 16th, Ibobo 17th, Nguyen in 18th, Shahin in 19th, Garber 20th, Parrish in 21st, and Norberg in 22nd position. And you just saw there, the spray came, but a little bit too late. The driver's already able to get laps done before the spray came into an effect. So we'll see Michael Mocho duck into the pits. He'll then be wheeled back into his garage, and then that will be the session done. So what do you make of the first day then, Danny?
Definitely interesting. Wasn't expecting Nether to finish that high up. Neither
considering that. Yeah, they did have quite a shaky season last season, it must be said, Will Nella. Sometimes he had some ups, sometimes he had some downs. But overall, it's a 1-2-3 for Mercedes after this session. And then it is followed by an Audi, then a BMW, and then another Mercedes. As Mocho is going to get himself wheeled back into pit lane, and then that will be the session done and dusted. As incorrect colours, the Williams BMW colours of mechanics, wheeling Mocho back into the pit garage there. But that is his session now officially done. That's everybody's session done. So that's that really. So I think we'll soon make our way over to the little pause screen very soon, because we have reached the end of the session. I wouldn't expect the fast forward screen because, of course, that can sometimes glitch out the game, especially if you're doing a full session of cars. So anyway, let's have a look then at the full session times then. So a reminder then, it's Julie Sanderson at the top with Michael Mocho in 2nd, Florian Volker 3rd, Bartosz Kloss in 4th, followed by Robert Ionescu in 5th, Will Nella in 6th, Adji Prazan in 7th, with Daniel Fraser 8th, Roman Krag in 9th, Alessandro Tomaselli in 10th, with Oliver Glazebrook 11th, David Greenwood in 12th, Christoph Beranek in 13th, with Johan Peterson in 14th, Rifki Fakruzane in 15th, Adam Wolf in 16th, Victor Ibobo 17th, Hoang Min Nguyen in 18th, with Halil Shahin in 19th, Roberto Gamba in 20th, Will Parrish in 21st, and in 22nd of last, last is Max Norberg. So there you have it then. That is the first day of DTM preseason testing done and dusted, and a very interesting session, it must be said. Whether that will be the same for tomorrow at Assen, we'll have to wait and see. It is a completely different track, and who knows, maybe the weather, like it has done for the last couple of seasons we've done testing here at Assen, could play an effect. But that has been it then, guys. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm not 100% sure if I can do the commentary tomorrow. I don't think I will be able to, so you might be hearing somebody else's voice tomorrow instead of mine. Maybe Danny will still be here tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I've been JW97. He's been Danny, and we will see you tomorrow for day 2 of DTM preseason testing, this time being at the TT Circuit Aston. Take care.
Bye.